Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at DiscountTire.com. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Babe, there's something different about my mango pineapple smoothie.
Really? My caramel frappe tastes fine.
Nah, something's definitely different.
No difference? Other than I got them for half off because I ordered on the app.
Well, that explains it.
Explains what?
How things seem to taste so much better when you're getting a sweet deal.
Okay.
Right now at Mickey D's, get 50% off any size McCafe beverage when you order through the McDonald's app.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Valid one time per day. Visit McDonald's app for details. Download and registration required.
On March 10th, 2021, a family's lives were forever changed. A family rooted in love now deals with the aftermath of a horrific car accident that left their 8-year-old daughter paralyzed from the chest down. We have an opportunity to provide hope. On this special episode of the Unscripted, you'll meet my new friends, Tyler and Joanna Hamilton, as they discuss what happened in the accident and how we can help.
Welcome to the Unscripted podcast. My name's Corby LaCroix, and the song you're hearing right now is called Great and Mighty One, available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. But for now, recording from the Unscripted studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard, here's your host and my friend, Aaron Conrad.
All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted from my studios here at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Corby, thank you for the audio as always. This is a rush Unscripted today. We're rushing this one because it's important and we need to get the information out as soon as possible. So let me let my guests go ahead and introduce themselves and we will go from there.
All right, we're the Hamiltons. I'm Tyler Hamilton, and we're originally from Kentucky, but we are transplants to Hilliard. And about 6+ years ago, we actually chose Hilliard mainly because of two reasons. We heard the school systems were great, and it was like the best commute to get downtown for work, but still kind of be out in the amongst kind of a smaller feeling community. So we really loved Ohio. We thought we'd be here a short time. We're now here 6+ years, and we really like it. So awesome. This is.
And I'm Joanna.
Nice to meet you.
And I would he explained most of it, but we thought it was kind of going to be a stop on the way, but we're here to stay.
There you go. My wife and I have tried, I should say I have probably tried to move twice, not as much my wife, but she went along with me because she's my lovely wife. But we tried to move twice and yet we're still here and it's been 21 years. So,
right.
So there you go. It's a wonderful town and it has its way of holding on to you a little bit. And now I wouldn't leave for anything. I love this town. So you did mention Kentucky. Is my Carolina blue a problem? Is that going to be okay?
I'm going to be honest, Aaron, when you sent me your link that I read through the bio, I was just really happy it was a North Carolina fan instead of a Dookie. So
there we go. That's right.
We can have our hatred for another school together and celebrate that
bond.
That's right. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so, I don't have any problem with Kentucky. I really don't. It's that other school that we won't mention again. So, all right. Well, let's tell the story because it's important. And I want people to know, this was brought to I'll lay the groundwork, I guess. This was brought to my attention from our friends at Dots Tots. Wonderful organization. They do great things and they really help out those that need the help when they need it. And it's a wonderful organization. So I received an email and I talked to Andy. The email was telling a little bit about an accident that you all had and a fundraiser that they're doing for you. So I'll let you tell the story because I don't know any of the details, but that's some of the groundwork. That's how I was made aware of it and why I want to make so many other people aware of it as well.
Right. So on March 10th, this past March, I was driving in our minivan with our 4 kids, and we were going to a birthday party that was right in our neighborhood, but we were returning from the pharmacy down the road. So we were driving and we stopped and waited to turn left. I had my blinker on waiting, but Roberts Road, I'm sure you're familiar, gets a little heavy traffic in the evening time. And so we had sat there for a little bit, just waiting for an opening. And I am not sure how to describe what happened because my kids nor I knew anything was going to happen. We were just waiting to turn. And immediately it was like, one of my daughters explained that like all of a sudden the world was spinning. Like I was asking myself, what did I do? I'm turning around and calling the kids' names, and two of my kids, one was crying and one answered me, and the two that were in the back seat were not responding to me. So I jumped out of the van and ran around to the back where I saw what had happened. And it was a distracted driver that had not, she couldn't have seen us at all. I'm not exactly sure what she was doing, but there was no braking involved. She just hit us from behind. So I couldn't get to my kids that way because it was just gone. The whole back of the van was gone.
Wow.
And so I came back inside, and on the way there, I got someone's attention to call 911. So that was the accident. It was an extremely traumatic experience for all of us. Luckily, those two in the back don't have memory of it. I feel kind of grateful for that. But they were both taken in separate ambulances. That's our oldest son, Axel, he's 12, and our younger daughter, who's 8. And so they were taken in separate ambulances, and they took the rest of us, Cooper, my 10-year-old daughter, who's now 11, she would make sure that I corrected that.
Axel's now 13 too.
Well, yes, he wouldn't notice. He maybe would tell you he was 12.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. So the toddler, the 3-year-old, the 10-year-old, and I went in a third ambulance. Locke, the 3-year-old, had a broken leg where something to do with the impact. No one has been able to explain it or why it would have happened, but the driver's seat broke. The back of the driver's seat fell back onto Locke's legs. So it broke his leg. And Cooper and I came out pretty much unscathed. We both had whiplash and have been treated for that. And luckily things resolved pretty much from that. But the other kids have had a much longer road to recovery. So once we got to the hospital, we found over a couple of days, really, we discovered all that they were dealing with. So our son Axel has a traumatic brain injury, but they explained it to us that it's important to know that it's a DAI, which is really bad. It's shearing of the brain in many places. Wow. So he had that. He also had numerous breaks in his neck, and tib-fib fracture in his leg. Anything else for Axel?
Well, I think when you got there, the part that kind of scared us a little bit on Axel was that through the TBI here on his lower head part, I guess. I don't remember.
There was like a large hemorrhage somewhere that.
But he had full right side paralysis. So.
Oh my gosh.
That day, his paralysis, which with Naomi we'll kind of talk about, is scary as a parent. When I showed up at the accident a few minutes after Joanna, it was kind of bizarre because there was no blood, no injuries, nothing other than just that 2 kids are passed out. And
that kind of added to like the world spinning thing. Like nothing made sense. I've been in bad car accidents before, but there's blood, you know? Right. So it just looked kind of like they were sleeping, honestly.
Wow.
But yeah, so very quickly, Axel started to regain strength on that side, but it still has been a long process. He still does PT and OT, and I would say that most of it has returned. The thing that he is left with is a shoulder droop that probably won't change. It's just one side is lower than the other. And his speech is slight. We notice it because we knew Axel before, but luckily we found lately that other people don't notice it as much as we do. And Axel isn't bothered. So that's a really good thing. You want to talk a little bit about Naomi?
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm going back to Aaron, it was just a crazy night, and then really the next 10 days were a blur, and then on to the weeks that we were at the wonderful Nationwide Hospital that took care of us and our family. And I'm thinking of some fun stuff too, right? Like one thing, just before we move on, about Naomi, is that Axel's kind of a picky eater, and due to his paralysis, he was on a feeding tube for a month, and he has picky eating things, and I won't say his most balanced diet. Maybe I shouldn't have that recorded on a podcast, but we try to do our best as parents, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they had him on a well-balanced Ensure or whatever liquid diet for a month. Man, he sprouted like 4 inches. It felt like it was like his nutritious, most nutritious you've been.
Is that crazy?
At the hospital.
Wow.
We joke with him now, like, I guess you're just gonna stay this height, but but at least you got those months of Ensure.
Yeah, well, it's great that we can laugh about that. I mean, even in the midst of this darkness at the time, there was something that you can look back at and smile at least. For sure.
Really, it's hard to get there, but like countless things when we've talked since then come up that we can laugh, that were really good. But.
And that's why, and maybe we'll talk about Naomi. It was interesting that a couple of times, we had 2 children go through traumatic injuries that we sometimes thought, honestly, as odd as it may seem, it was almost, they did it as a team sometimes. They almost, gained strength in each other's downs and to raise them up and those types of things. But I think if I kind of go back to that night, as I'm driving to the hospital and following the ambulances, and really not knowing, right? Like I said, there was no visible injuries. So you kind of think, well, they just gotta, they passed out, right? They'll be all right, I think, and just, great concern. And ultimately I get to the hospital, and, they're both in trauma bays, and there are just doctors everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. And, I quickly realized that Naomi was the larger concern, because when I went into the one bay with Axel, there was probably, 8 or 10 physicians or, nurses or other medical staff. And then I go into Naomi's room, and it is shoulder to shoulder. I mean, there's 30 people in there. And I quickly realized they're just trying to see if she has movement. And that's when our journey in spinal cord injuries kind of began. Something that we watched the Special Olympics this last summer, and in Japan with a little bit different interest now. We learned that night that was the critical thing we were looking for. That they had definitely seen a spinal cord injury as they did their imaging, and the question was to what severity, and if so, what the recovery time is, if any. And so
we've learned so much that we didn't know before. Spinal cord injuries can be complete or incomplete, which kind of determines how much recovery you can have. And everyone is different. The people who talked to us early on, even within the first week or more, they didn't want to give up hope, because sometimes they see that on the imaging and it's just inflammation that needs to go down so that the nerve, the messages can make their way through. But over time we realized that was going to be less and less likely.
Wow. So Oh gosh. I mean, honestly, there's so many things that you said that I just can't even imagine. Being separated in separate ambulances alone, like just literally, there's so many things that you said that I can't even begin to wrap my head around. If I was a parent being separated from them, even in the hospital, being in separate bays, and you love them all equally, and wanting to be, I just can't even begin to imagine what that night, that all of it, from all that you have said so far, was like. And the fact that they were almost shielded from the memory is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated, but ironically enough, I actually was driving our minivan in that parking lot right there on Roberts, I think right by the Raising Cane's and everything. And I hit a light pole because I'm just,
oh no,
I hit a light pole. But my son, who's now like 20, going to be 21 in a few weeks, was with me, and he was just a little toddler in a little booster seat in the back. But I remember he cried like we were in an accident. I'm like, buddy, it's okay. Like, I just hit this light pole and destroyed our van.
Yeah.
and I don't know why I just bring it up, because he was really like, he was traumatized by this little parking lot accident with a light pole that his dad doesn't know how to drive very well. But that was just, and it was literally probably a stone's throw from where you all were. I don't know, as you were talking, I was thinking back to that, because I think that's maybe, fortunately, that's one of the only ones we've ever had. And he was so upset. And the fact that that what you all went through was way, way bigger than that. And the fact that they don't remember, there's some shielding there, I think, that's taken place.
Mm-hmm. Two things. One was that I'm not sure how old your little boy was, but that Locke did not stop crying. And of course, later we realized his leg was broken. So that had some to do with it, but he would not stop crying. And I remember telling like EMTs who were asking me, is he okay? And I was like, there's no way I can know. I need to get him checked out, And so I was glad that they ended up sending him in too, and checking Cooper out to make sure everything was okay. But
Aaron, that seems like some pretty aggressive parking lot driving. I mean, I don't know if we need a little bit more from that story, but did you need change that bad?
My poor wife, she walked out. She's like, what happened? I'm like, I hit a pole. There's really nothing. I can't make it any more exciting than that. I just didn't see it. It was kind of in a blind spot to my left, and I turned and drove right into it. But this isn't about me. So anyway, but I do remember he cried and cried and cried, and I couldn't get him to stop crying. It was like, we're fine, buddy. Like, there was, I just hit a pole. But anyway, so where are we today? Like, where are we now with everything? Because I know that's a lot of what this fundraiser is for, is some needs that you all have. Where are we today?
I just realized we didn't quite get to all of Naomi's stuff. We'll go over it quickly. So spinal cord injury, complete spinal cord injury at T5. So from chest level down, she has no mobility and no sensation. And at the same time, she had many fractures as well in her neck and ligament damage that was severe enough that they needed to go in and stabilize things. So she had a surgery pretty early on where they operated both anterior and posterior. So she has some good battle scars there. And a neurological condition as a result of, I think the injuries here is something called Horner's syndrome. And so that is characterized by a droopy eye and different size pupils. And the thing that you have to worry about with that is that it adds to her inability to control her body temperature, which is a big problem for spinal cord injuries. But in particular, the Horner syndrome will make her one side it's actually, we called it her superpower. When she gets overheated and we know we need to take action, one side is bright red and one is just normal color.
Wow.
And there's a straight line straight down the middle. So that one is kind of actually fun. And was that she had left side weakness. As Axel had right side, she had left side, but hers was definitely not as severe, and has had through rehab is gone. She's equal on both sides now.
Oh, that's good. But that now requires, you all have some now requirements in your home that to deal with what you all are working through now. And I think that's part of what they're trying to raise the funds for, correct?
Yeah.
What I think, just from our family is that we got 4 kids. We enjoy our family time. Our family from Kentucky comes up regularly, and so we need a lot of space, right? We don't live in a huge home right now, but when we got home, obviously it's not designed for a wheelchair. And we got 4 bedrooms upstairs. There's a half bath on the main floor, and Naomi can't even fit into that. So we knew immediately after the accident that we had to look for other homes, but we've dealt with so much change with the family that we didn't want to change them too much. So we went on this manhunt for finding a home more of a ranch style, right? And
that kept us in their school, in their same schools. That was the goal.
And for those in Hilliard, there's not a whole lot of ranch homes in Hilliard, right?
No, there's not.
And the ones you find are 3-bedroom, and we're a 6-person family, so that is a stretch.
And the market is just not very, right now it's not very open. I mean, there's just not a lot of availability.
Right.
Wow.
And I think when we first got home, with Joanna and I were on kind of 2 different pages. I was like, we could, build a mother-in-law suite on the back of the house, and Joanna was not a fan of that. But a small moment that changed my mind was, it was a Saturday afternoon, and we were upstairs. I think I was maybe I don't know, getting dressed or something, and the other kids were just in their rooms, and nothing was going on. Right, we're just that Saturday afternoon, kind of relaxed, and maybe finishing up from doing some housework or something. And Naomi rolls to the bottom of the stairs and just yells up and says, "What are you guys doing up there?"
Oh no!
And I mean, I share that with you, story, because just we've had so many sad moments, but that it solidified me to say, hey, we got to find something that meets our family needs, and that we can make a home where she can go anywhere and essentially be anywhere. And so that's what puts us where we are today.
I'm not sure he remembers, but early on in the hospital, the reason that I didn't waver when he said we could change some things in this house, I think we can make it work, was because he said he felt very strongly that he wanted to be somewhere where she could go anywhere in the house. We needed a house where she could go where she wanted to go. And that struck a chord with me. I think that is like a basic right in a family dynamic. She should be able to do that. So luckily, it took a while. Like we said, the accident was in March, and we started looking then. But we finally found a home that is gonna be very good for us.
Awesome. And that's in the same school district as you were looking for?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It'll keep all our older kids on the exact same path, and our youngest, who hasn't started elementary, will start in a different elementary school, but he hasn't gotten settled anywhere. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. But that house will still require some changes. That's correct? And what are the changes that need to be done?
Well, I think, and this is where we've learned about spinal cord injuries, right? Like, just not, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I'll just show you. So there's kind of 2 major facets that make the bathroom situation much different for a spinal cord injury person, is that number 1, on the lower part of your spine controls all your bowel and bladder functions.
Naomi has what's called neurogenic bowel and neurogenic bladder. And that means that she she has no control of that anymore, and that
Wow.
that we take care of that for her. What's good is that they know what they're doing, and they can teach us how to do like things that you didn't know existed, but something called a bowel program. So you make it so that she's living as normal a life as possible. But these things have been going on in one of our living rooms.
Oh, wow.
Because she can't go into any bathroom here. And we didn't ever say that. We made her a makeshift bedroom in one of those spaces down here.
Yeah.
And it's worked well. We can't complain. It's been okay, but we're ready to be in a place our family belongs.
Yeah. Can only imagine.
Yeah. So the bathroom that's available there to her is not a small bathroom. I think it's going to be doable size wise. With a wheelchair, you need 5-foot radius around. So I think that we will be able to make it work. And we have several options too of different ways. The one we really like is to be able to make it a private bathroom to Naomi's room, so that it's just bothered me from the beginning thinking about guests going in her bathroom, or even her siblings, and seeing all of her things, her setup. I think it would be really great for her now and in the long run. As she gets older, she'll become more independent with those things. That is definitely a possibility. So she needs a bathroom.
And how is everybody else doing now?
I think everybody's doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
I think the whole part about, your family, we as much as we loved each other before then, through this experience, separation, it does make the heart grow a little bit fonder. We were just everywhere. We had kids in a hospital in 2 different rooms with COVID, which you could imagine just getting in places was so difficult, and managing other kids at home. And
we had to fight to get more, like the 2 of us were listed on Axel's room, and the 2 of us were listed on Naomi's room, and it's only 2 visitors. So if that was the case, we wouldn't ever be able to see our other kids. So as time went on, we kind of bugged and were able to get separately my parents added on, and that allowed us to come home and spend some time in the evening with our other kids. But it brought us together.
So we had a goal at the hospital. This is kind of a dumb goal, but we'll share what it is we love the TV show Goldbergs. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but we thoroughly enjoyed that. So that was our goal, to get home and be able to watch Goldbergs as a family. We count down at the hospital as, Naomi was there near 2 months, and Axel got out a couple weeks before then. But to come home, just to be in the same room as a family, and just kind of just be in the presence. I mean, Aaron, we look back at a few different things on the positive side. Is that, one, we easily could have lost one of our children that night. We didn't. And even with the severe injuries that we have, we're thankful that Naomi still has the function of her arms. That if we set up her life now, she'll have an independent life as an adult. And that's really our goal. Yeah. She's 8, so we got time, and we can teach her. And honestly, we're learning from YouTube and support groups on Facebook and our physicians and everything else, because it's you wake up one day and you can't use half your body. And I sit there and watch her at night. I just think I can't imagine it. Even it's my daughter, and I'm living it with her. So I'm not going off on a tangent. I'll get teary-eyed again. But just being able to come home. How are we doing now? I mean, we're back to siblings fighting again, right? Over dumb stuff.
That happened too fast.
Certain things have changed, right? We don't quite go do certain activities or whatever, because some things have changed, and we'll get back to some of that stuff. But we do feel a little bit normal. It's just our normal is a little bit slower. It takes a little bit more prep time. And we have to kind of run a clock, right? Some of the procedures that we have to do throughout the day, each day, we're on a clock. But it is so good to be back as a family unit and enjoy each other's company. I can't express how much we feel. It feels great.
Yeah. Well, you all have been very kind to kind of let myself and this audience into your home tonight, and to share, a very personal story with us. But I wanted to do that because, this is the first that we've all ever met, but I want to do that because, we all want to help somehow, some way, however we can. And I think we always just, we look for those opportunities. And so I'm thankful that you all would let us come into your home tonight through this podcast and share this with us. So a few things that are coming up. One of them is coming up. So we're recording this at like 9:30 on a Thursday before this Saturday. But this Saturday is the Dots Tots Bar Crawl. Which I believe it takes place the Crooked Can, it's a bar crawl. So it's probably all over downtown. Anyway, you can find out more about that at the dotstotsbarcrawl.com. That is a website, but specifically for you all, they have set up a fund or a place where you can, people can donate. That can be found through the Dots Tots Facebook page. Is that correct? And I'll have the links in this post as well, where I can share that. But the best place, I think we said, is going to be through the Dots Tots Facebook page. That'll get you to the page where you can actually donate there. And that's a financial gift, I believe, is where they could do that. Are there any other needs? If somebody's, listening, are there any other needs outside of those that in ways that someone could help? Obviously, the finances would be for the things that we've said, the renovations that need to take place, things like that. But is there any other way that they can help?
We've been blown away, honestly, at
Awesome.
the service that people have offered us, even continuing past the hospital. People said people will forget about it, and you have to remind them, and that never happened. People kept checking on us and kept doing things for us. And no, I don't think there's anything that we need. The only thing that I would say is that through this experience, it's made me much more aware, which it's embarrassing that I wasn't before, but much more aware of things that are accessible to my daughter out in public. We take her somewhere and I think she would never be able to go here, or take her somewhere that maybe she'd go as an older girl, and she would have to ask a stranger to open this door, to even enter the place. So I'm not sure. I think I will become a better and better advocate, because I do feel passion for that, for not only Naomi, but so many others who are in wheelchairs and just have other needs that affect their accessibility. I think it's really important to just become more aware.
And,
Absolutely.
And if I were to kind of, I think that's part of the reason why we like Hilliard so much. I mean, this accident happened to us, and the outpouring of the community around us, our church, our neighbors, our school, random strangers in the area. I mean, they put out like an APB that we needed a ramp at our house, and they had one welded and put together, like erected within a week. Just people just were willing to help and give their time. Honestly, it's going to sound weird. People volunteered to mow our yard, and I was like, I can still mow my yard. But it was like the most wonderful thing that on Saturday morning I could help with things and not have to worry about it. And, it was, so I mean, when you say we need stuff, the outpouring on us is, we can't thank people enough for the little things to the big things. It's been beyond unfathomable how much people have reached out to us and helped. And
awesome.
we spoke a little bit before about how it's really hard to realize that you're in a situation where you have to not just accept it, but sometimes ask for it.
Mhm.
And that's been really hard for us. But for me, my mom told me something that helped me a lot. She said, people want to do something, and that's what they can do.
Yes.
Whatever they're doing what they can do.
Yeah.
And I just want the world for my kids.
Mhm.
And so that kind of takes the wall down and allows you to accept people's help, which we are so appreciative of.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about that in our pregame before we started, about how hard that is. And I had a friend that, I think I've mentioned it before on this podcast, but I had a friend that was in a cancer battle, and he was the same way. He didn't want help, but he was a dad and a husband. And I remember somebody telling him, and then him sharing with me, that what changes his perspective it's very similar to what you just said. He said that somebody told him, you're robbing them of the gift if you don't accept it, because they're being led or felt like they wanted to or wanted to. And every time you say no because of your pride, you're robbing them of the gift. And it changed his perspective a lot. I'd be the same way. I'm not good at that, but I think it is a gift, and it's a gift that people want to give. And especially, as you said, in this community, it's a wonderful community where people really do care. Not that other communities don't. I just know Hilliard, and I know that the people in this community really care about each other a lot.
Yeah, we felt it. We felt it. That's why we didn't leave.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
I had one other thing when you said, what do you need? And this is, Joanna, I think is now that we've had this accident, to talk about accessibility and be a platform for that, and, kind of be a awareness of something we didn't quite see before. And I think the other thing that I've used it as a platform at work, talking about safety and, being good stewards of our community, is, what happened to our family is from distracted driving.
Yep.
And that's maybe some of the part that I like to kind of promote a little bit and encourage people, right, as a platform, to say, hey, that's a way to keep your community safe.
Right.
And so, pay attention to the things you got to do. And I don't know, it's almost tough to share that in some cases, to think that that's the reason why we're here today, is because of that. But I can't help but not tell people to say, hey, talk to your young drivers, talk to, re-engage our own selves as you get a text message or whatever else across your phone. And we're so connected these days that, that's what I'd ask anybody is, let's prevent anything of any injury level through paying attention to what we need to be doing at that time.
It's a message we constantly need reminded of, because we're constantly distracted by our phones, by our watch that's connected to our phone, by whatever else. It's so it has to be constantly reminded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You almost have to combat the amount of distraction that we get from our phones with that message, so that we're constantly reminded, hey, leave it. That message will be there when I'm old enough to remember when you didn't have a phone in your car, and then when you did get one in your car and it cost you too much money to even pick it up. So, and we all made it, so, we don't need, and I'm as guilty as the next person. I really am. I can't act like I'm really good about it, because I struggle with that just like everybody else.
It was actually I think this will make sense, but it was a huge gift to me that I could relate to being distracted, like right away. I knew, like, it could have been me. It could have been my fault. And it wasn't. I've been grateful that I can relate to her. So as not to blame her so much as to just relate, and also just be grateful that I don't have to carry that burden. But yeah, it's a little thing, and it's certainly shouldn't take such a big consequence to change your habits.
I think it sounds like you've been given a grace and a forgiveness that some people would probably really struggle with in the aftermath. So that's also pretty amazing that you've already come to a place where you have that grace, and it sounds like a forgiveness.
this moment.
Yeah, true. Well, I think that's honest, right? I mean, I think that's fair, and it's all of us, and I'm with anything in life, I should say, not obviously, and not the situation, but that grace and forgiveness is not easily to come by sometimes. Just had a issue this morning that I was dealing with some forgiveness on my own. So once again, speaking as much to myself when I say that, but so one other question that we didn't talk about, hopefully it's okay. And if it's not, you guys just say pass. Do you have a contact information where somebody, if they can't do something financially, there's not a way that they can help you, or if they hear this and there's something that clicks with them, or they can network somehow for you, is there a contact information for that, like an email address or something for you all that they can get out and reach out to you? Or if you don't want to share that, that's okay. Or can they find you on Facebook, or what's a good way for somebody to contact you?
I don't think we're expecting that question by any means.
Sorry, it was a curveball.
Maybe a little plug before that is, if you'd really like to follow our kids and what they're doing as we're learning this, there's a Facebook page that was created by some friends of ours that we post somewhat regularly on, some updates on where their growth is. It's called Hamilton Hug. And, a lot of people here locally following that. And, I'm Tyler Hamilton and Joanna Hamilton. You can find us on Facebook. I mean, I don't, I give my phone number out here. I don't care.
Let's not go that far. I like that. Tell me again one more time. Hamilton Hug?
Hamilton Hug.
Hug. Okay.
Two words. Yeah.
No.
Okay. And that's on Facebook.
Blood type too, if you need it.
No, that's okay. We're good. Hamilton Hug Facebook, right? That's what we said. Okay. Just want to make sure I get it right. Okay, cool. Well, I'll have all these links, as I said, but just to run through them really quick, if anybody's listening on their treadmill or out walking their dog or driving in the car, whatever it might be. And we can also contact, so let me start at the top. You can contact Dots Tots at it's contact@dotstots, DOTSTOTS.org, contact@dotstots.org. The Hilliard Bar Crawl is Saturday night, and you can find that at dotstotsbarcrawl.com. The way to find you all is two Facebook pages now. One would be on the Dots Tots page. That's where they can get to the fundraiser, which is very important. So please, I think, start there. And then once you've spent your time there, go back to Facebook and find Hamilton Hug. Is that right? Hamilton Hug.
Yeah.
And Tyler and Joanna on Facebook.
Yeah.
Did we get it
You'll
all?
see some really cute pictures of our kids there.
There you go. Well, and I think everybody's going to want to. I know I'm going to go follow it as soon as we get done. Well, first I'm going to get this done and edit it and up, because I want to get this word out as soon as we can. And hopefully, people will rally. Like we said, we live in a great community, but this audience is larger than just our community, hopefully. And so, hopefully others will rally around you all as well. I know I'm so thankful you allowed us into your home tonight, and just allowed us to hear your story.
We haven't been able to say how grateful we are for you, especially, on a rush basis. It was a really nice, surprising opportunity for us. It's not something we do usually on a Thursday night.
So there you go. The Goldbergs isn't on, is it?
No.
Okay. No. All right. Well, good. I hope you weren't DVRing or something that you'd missed. But no, thank you. I'm thankful for the platform and the people that listen will allow me to do this every day. And so, well, not every day, but most feels like it. But that the audience is what allows me to do this. So I'm thankful for the platform, and I'm happy to share it. And especially in this case. So we'll be praying for you all. And I just pray that everything just continues to go well. What is I'm sorry, one last question. What is the long-term outlook?
So for Naomi, it's pretty set. She actually just kind of completed her first round of physical therapy. They kind of called it a graduation, but for her, she will continue to return to therapy to learn new skills as she gets older, that she needs to do. So she'll have quite a lot of therapy in her life. At this point, we know that nothing will return, so she will live her life in a wheelchair, which she has acclimated to amazingly.
Wow.
And Axel, I Axel's long term is still some therapy because of the difference in the strength on each side, and also the brain injury. There's a window, and I don't know exactly when that is, but there's a window of improvement, and then after that window closes, you kind of are seeing what you're going to get. And he's a great kid. He's been affected by this. There's no doubt there, but he works hard, and I think it's good. I think his outlook is good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully all of us, well, Tyler's pretty strong. All of us will mentally keep improving as well. So it's been taxing in that regard, but also therapy. Everybody go to therapy.
Yeah.
There's a plug too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I imagine. And if you all could have seen the video, you would have seen Tyler made a few faces when she said he was strong.
Oh dear.
Well, it's audio. It's a podcast, so you're fine.
Okay.
No, they were fun. They were fun to watch. No, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. I'm going to rush to get this up. I should have it up this evening, so it will be up in time tomorrow for a full day of hopefully people listening. I will be promoting it all day tomorrow. And then hopefully some people will see you all. Are you, you all will be at the bar crawl, right?
Yep. We'll
So hopefully people will see you at the bar crawl on Saturday night. It is homecoming for my daughter.
Okay.
So I don't know if I will be able to be at the bar crawl, but it's a chance for anyone to meet you. Maybe if somebody's heard this, that's just another place that they can come up and just get to know you all and offer any help or ideas that they may have as well. So appreciate you all, praying for you, and thank you so much for your time.
We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Unscripted podcast with your host, Aaron Conrad, from his studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Make sure to like, share, follow, and review on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, make sure to check out my song Great and Mighty One on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your music. We'll see you next time on Unscripted with Aaron Conrad.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.